Namaha Am Charvebhyo Devebhyo Namaha.
So, have you experienced God? You're asking this question so easily. When you say God, I want you to understand this. When you say God, you are not talking about somebody or something. When you say God, you are talking about the source of your own creation, isn't it? Isn't it so? When you say God, you're talking about the source of your creation, from what you have come. What is the source of my being? That's what you're asking. So you're asking me, have you experienced the source of my being or your being? Because it cannot be different. Right now, your being and my being may be very different, but the source of this cannot be different. So when you ask, have you experienced this? You are asking, have I experienced the source of your existence? Isn't it? So, the depth of the question has not still tormented you, still on the surface. Curiosity, it's okay, anyway we'll look at it. To ask, what is the source of my creation means, that means I'm existing here without knowing the fundamentals of who I am, isn't it? That's what it means. Living here without knowing the fundamentals of who I am, if you understand the implications of it, it's not a small thing, it'll tear you. Probably we touched this yesterday. The pain of ignorance, the pain of not knowing has to tear you apart. Then only the question becomes truly relevant. Where is God? Tell me. How is God? Tell me. This is not a question. This is a social debate that is going on. A question means, a question should come from not knowing, wanting to go to knowing, isn't it? That's what a real question is, isn't it so? A genuine question means, it is wanting to move from not knowing to knowing. That's what a question is, a device to move from not knowing to knowing. If one does not know the fundamentals of who he is, that is not a simple problem. That is a very, very deep problem, isn't it? Most basic, most fundamental and ultimate. Because whatever you do in your life, if you do not know the very basis of who you are, it's just utter nonsense, the whole life, isn't it? Isn't it so? If one does not know the very fundamentals of who he is, that means you are declaring, when you ask, where is God? What is God? Did you experience God? Did you know God? When you ask these questions, you are telling to yourself that my life is utter nonsense, A to Z. Everything in my life is utter nonsense. Maybe the impact of that realization has not sunk into you yet. It should. You must know the pain of not knowing. Then you cannot be here without knowing. You have to know. Once such a situation comes, such a burning comes within you that you cannot sleep one day without knowing, it's not far away because what you're trying to know is within you. If you burn with the longing to know, what you want to know is sitting up in the heaven, that would be a difficulty. If you burn wanting to know, if wanting to know burns you, it is immediate because it's right here. Anyway, let's start from your beliefs and whatever you believe in, whatever your understanding is, from that. Because we can only go from where you are. They have always told you, God is everywhere. Is that so? Or even if they have not told you, whichever religion, whichever culture, they have told you this. But even if they have not told you, from your own intelligence, if you look at it, oh, can we keep our eyes open? Are you responsible for your neighbors? Then just elbow them every 10 minutes. Please, those of you a little drowsy, sit with your spine up. From your own intelligence, if you look at it, you can see if there is something called God, it has to be everywhere. Yes? If I can lock him up in my temple and come, he's no good to you. Isn't it so? So if there is something called as God, it's got to be everywhere. If it's everywhere, it needs to be here also, there also, there also, there also. What is it that can be everywhere? I want you to look at this. Think of one thing that can be everywhere. Nature? What does nature mean to you? See, energy can be here, not be there, isn't it? No. See, there can be see, energy means it has a physical presence. So, there is energy here, maybe there is no energy there. It's a possibility, isn't it? What is it that can be everywhere? Oh, you're… Huh? Nothingness. Nothingness is the only thing which can be everywhere, isn't it? You don't like it. Now, you're flying up there, you're flying within the atmosphere, so there is something. Suppose your airplane takes off and flies beyond this atmospheric space. What is there? Total nothingness, isn't it? If you look up in the sky in the night, what do you see? Stars. But I want you to understand, stars are just tiny specks out there. The large mass is just vast emptiness, isn't it? It is in the lap of this nothingness, small somethingness has happened. Your planets, stars, galaxies are just little happenings in the vast emptiness of space. So nothingness is the only thing which can be everywhere. So if nothingness is all that can be everywhere, today modern science is proving to you beyond any doubt, everything is coming from nothing and going back to nothing. Do you know this? Do you know modern science is proving to you your theory of relativity, quantum theory and now the string one, they're all out to prove to you that everything comes from nothing and goes back to nothing. A whole galaxy of stars, many times they just collapse into themselves and become nothing. Some of them explode and become supernovas, but many of them just collapse into themselves and just become nothing. These are called black holes. So, everything comes from nothing, goes back to nothing. What you call as creation is just a small happening, a brief happening, maybe a few 100 million years, but still, in the vastness of the space, it is just a small, brief happening. You may think you're too much, but you are just a brief happening, isn't it? Simply you appear like this, you'll disappear tomorrow, isn't it? This planet also, it is appeared like this, it'll disappear tomorrow. But the vastness of the space is always there. It is in the lap of this space, everything is happening. It is in the lap of nothingness, somethingness sprouts and dies, sprouts and dies. So everything is coming from nothing. You know the word Shiva? The word Shiva means that which is not. The word Shiva literally means that which is not. That which is creation, that which is not is Shiva or the creator. So, this is ultimate science for you. They're just telling you everything comes from nothing and goes back to nothing. Because everything is supposed to come from Shiva and he is that which is not. He is nothingness. Or in other words, he is darkness. Space is just utter darkness, isn't it? Yes, experientially. The sources of light are always limited. If you see light, it means something is burning there. It won't be forever, it'll burn up after some time. You feel and see, something is burning here. Yes? In a mild way maybe, but something is burning. And you can't keep the burning forever. You cannot keep any burning forever. It'll burn itself out after some time. Even the greatest source of light that you know is sun. Even he is burning himself up. One day he will be done. Yes or no? Such a great source of light. Just with my hand, I can stop the light and leave a long shadow of darkness, isn't it? But darkness, can you stop it anywhere? It is everywhere, into everything. So, your religion's told you, God is everywhere. That means they're telling you God is darkness. But always you believed divine light, never divine darkness. In yoga, for beginners in yoga, we always tell them, God is light. As people advance in yoga, we tell them, God is darkness.
You're frightening us.
Huh?
You're frightening us.
Why? You're afraid of darkness?
Yeah.
See, darkness means there is nothing. Nothing cannot hurt you, only something can hurt you, isn't it? Isn't it so? Huh? Yes. Why are you afraid of that which created you?
But that's nothing.
Yes, it's nothing.
But that means there is something which has made us.
See, there was some time ago this philosophy. Some time ago, modern science believed nothing can be actually created or destroyed. You can only convert one thing into another. Matter can neither be created nor can it be destroyed, but not anymore. Worldwide, physical research laboratories have done this. Now they can destroy a proton or a neutron, not releasing any energy, not becoming anything else, just simply plain destruction. An existing proton, you can make it non-existent. And in vacuum states, where nothing is, they can produce what is called as virtual protons and virtual neutrons. One of the experiments happened in the coal or gold mines. Do you know this? Because they wanted a certain depth and a certain pressure inside the earth. In 5 different places on the planet, they conducted a very significant experiment about 8-9 years ago. One point was coal or gold mines near Bangalore. And they can actually destroy protons and neutrons, and they can create protons and neutrons out of nothing. So, this whole idea of if something has to be there, something else has to be there behind it, doesn't arise anymore. Everything comes from nothing and goes back to nothing. Huh?
Nothing makes something.
May make something, not necessarily.